What's going on, guys? It's Kevin from Crossfit Fitness, and today we're going to talk about how to program your very own CrossFit workouts and what a total overview should look like. And I've got it broken down into several different things. So if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe and like this video because I put out awesome content all the time. And the more you guys ask what you want to see more of, the more I pump it out for you. So let's get into understand the principles of CrossFit programming. It's absolutely controlled chaos. Just kidding. That's what it felt like, at least when I first started. I had absolutely no clue what was going on. It seemed like very random workouts. I came from the triathlon world where everything was kind of like very understanding a progressive overload system. And as you get more involved with CrossFit programming and have a better understanding, it actually very much is like that with structured progressions and progressive overload, especially when you talk about different training cycles in that thing, in that model. But in the beginning, it was really a lot to take in. You know, a small backstory of how I found CrossFit. After collegiate and professional athletics, I played basketball. I had no clue what I wanted to do, how I wanted to compete, and how I wanted to feel that, that thing inside me that wanted to train. So hitting the gym and doing chest and triceps and back and biceps, you could only do so many supersets, and it just got really boring. And thankfully, I was working at a gym called 24-Hour Fitness, and I had taken up gymnastics at the time because I wanted to do something new, and I had really liked that because it gave me some purpose again, and it was a great way to get outside and go to the park and get on the rings and things of that nature, which actually helped me in CrossFit later on, but I didn't know anything about it. Anyway, I had this guy who started working with us, and he was over there doing snatches, and he was snatching 265. This is like in 2011, so this is big boy weight, especially that time. Now it's a lot more common. But he told me that I'd be a heck of a CrossFit athlete because I was doing some stuff on the gymnastics rings, and I'd never even heard of it. So he introduced me to it, told me how it's like when you're first getting exposed to it, you have no clue. Like, oh, are there weight divisions? There's no weight divisions, but there's all these different tests. You have to be ready for everything. You got to be strong. You got to be conditioned. You got to be good at gymnastics. You have to have good technique. You got to be able to sprint, have an aerobic system. So basically, you got to be pretty good at everything. And that was like so exciting for me because when I was doing triathlons, I really enjoyed training for them, but I got really skinny and I didn't want to get any smaller. I wanted to be strong. I wanted to be fast. I wanted to be able to build muscle and things of that nature. So I really loved the fact that CrossFit was challenging all different types of fitness. And I got them here. What they say is cardiovascular, respiratory, endurance, stamina, strength, flexibility, power, speed, coordination, agility, balance, and accuracy. And I absolutely love that because, you got to be ready for anything. And I've been competing in CrossFit competitions for the last 10 years now. And, it's really cool. You got to be pretty dang good at it all. And when you're new and you're doing CrossFit workouts, I thought that I was going to be the man at this stuff because I was so conditioned. I was running repeat 5-minute miles and I had great conditioning and it looked like a conditioning sport, And then I'd pick up a barbell. I remember picking up a 135 snatch during a workout and I felt like I was picking up a house. And I was like, wow, I'm conditioned, but I can't pick up this weight. So I had to get strong. I got to get strong. And that's actually what I teach all of our athletes at Crossfit Fitness now. It's like strength is the price of admission because it's the showstopper. If you don't have the adequate strength, you're not going to be able to perform the workouts. And in fact, I'm a believer in that the stronger you get, the lighter that barbell is going to feel. And you'll be able to, as your muscular endurance gets better, you will go a lot further that way. So I'm going to walk through, I don't want this video to be too long, but just how to incorporate what constantly varied high intensity functional movements look like. And what I have people focus on when they're first starting is mobility is number one. You got to have good positions, and a lot of coaches test the overhead squat first because it tells us how you're going to move with your movement patterns. But the thing about the sport of fitness is it's so cool because you can progress to anything that you want to do. So you might start with the bodyweight squat and then a goblet squat and then a front squat and then a back squat and then an overhead squat. So no matter where you're at in your fitness journey, you can gradually progress up. It's not you have to get thrown in and you're doing 185-pound power snatches and you're ripping out your shoulder. I like to say that the sport of fitness has totally evolved from where thinking that everyone's just getting hurt and that you're just moving as fast as possible. Never sacrifice form, always focus on quality movement. And I believe that having a focus on adequate mobility and stability in a part of your training will help you with that. And I've seen such a demand for it, which is why I've created a free 3-day mobility course. I'll put that down in the description. You can snag that. T-spine mobility, hips, ankles, mobility will help you get into better positions. Better positions leads to better performance. Then we talk about strength training. Start with the basics. I've got back squat, front squat, overhead squat, deadlift, strict press. We got these prime movers. That is what your training program should be based off of. Big movements. And then just like any well-rounded training program, ton of unilateral stuff where you're focusing on muscles that support the compound movements. Bulgarian split squats, single arm rows, things that challenge your stability like bamboo squats or banded Pallof holds where you're holding out to prevent rotation when you're deadlift, or weighted planks to strengthen your spine so that you just have a stronger trunk. These are all things that we have inside of our program at K-Square Fitness. And so we've talked about mobility, we talked about strength training, the basics. Then you can begin to implement weightlifting, the snatch and the clean and jerk, super technical movements, and you want to master those techniques, master a technique first. There's a ton of different drills you can do. Having adequate mobility is primary number one, but drills to get better at the clean and jerk. Let's have you master good front rack position. Let's get into a strong front squat. You can do some press jerks in the position, tall jerks, jerk balances, tons of different drills to help you get better at the clean and jerk. And actually, I'm just reviewing this blog post that I wrote and just kind of scrolling and doing a video version. But if you want to come back and look at this and see more video content related to this, check out the blog post down below. But things to get better at: snatches, snatch balance, snatch drop, overhead squat holds, pausing in the bottom, 3-position snatches, snatch high pulls. If all this stuff is like, I don't know what any of these videos or any of these drills are, as I mentioned, check out the blog post. But also I've got a 4-week course where I teach you the snatch foundations, and I've got videos to guide you along every step of the way. Because in the beginning, I think old school thinking was, if I want to get better at snatches, I'm going to just do more snatches. Or if I want to get better at pull-ups, I'm going to just do more pull-ups. There's a part of that I believe in building progressive overload to getting more volume. But when it comes to technical movements like the snatch and the clean and jerk, it's really all about timing, positioning, and strength and speed. So you want to spend time working on those drills. And I've got gymnastics here. Fun story about the gymnastics is that's what I started doing before I got exposed to the sport. And then after a while, I told you I was trying to get really strong. And for a while, I was stuck with my strength. My numbers were pretty decent. I was building up at the time, and I was going strength cycle after strength cycle, and I couldn't move the needle. I went back to my gymnastics training, just 20 minutes a day, 3 days a week, really intense, and my numbers went up. I think I improved my back squat. I can't remember the numbers, exactly what they were, but they went up, call it 20, 40 pounds. Deadlift went up 50 pounds. Strict press went up. My numbers got stronger, and I truly believe that's because I focused on the positions, and you get strong in the body positions, mastering the hollow body, the L-sits, getting better shapes on the pull-up bar, and having that intensity. It really helped master a ton of isometric holds, and isometrics are a great way to get strong. But things you'll see in the sport of fitness when it comes to gymnastics: strict pull-ups, kipping pull-ups, butterfly pull-ups, bar and ring muscle-ups, strict handstand push-ups, kipping handstand push-ups, handstand walking, pistol squats, toes to bar, L-sits, lots of different variations, right? That's what I love about this game, is that you got so many different variations, so many different levels that you can continue to progress on. Even now they're doing a handstand walk, and then you got to do a pirouette. You got to turn around and come back. So I absolutely love all the progressions. And for someone that's new, all these different progressions can be really overwhelming. And as a passionate coach, I've got my full story on our website, of how I became a coach and how we created this fitness app. I'm going to give you the very short end of the stick. Is I moved in 5 different cities as a personal trainer, and every time I moved, I had to start my business over. And every time I moved, I had different cities of clients who still wanted to get programming. And this was way before this was really what I thought was popular. And so I created a document. I'd send everybody the document, and they didn't know exactly what it was because I wasn't there anymore. So then I added links to the document, and then they would go to YouTube, and then it was taking them too long because they'd go to YouTube and they either couldn't do it or they forgot what they were supposed to be doing. Long story short, my wife and I, Katie, released a fitness app 2020, and you can click start, and on the screen is the video of the exercise you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be doing strict handstand push-ups, but if you look at it, you say, hey, I can't do strict handstand push-ups. We've got buttons on there, harder or easier, and you can click and it'll scale the exercise for you right there. Just like if we were doing a personal training session, it's there to help you scale. Don't want this video to get much longer. We're going to wrap this up in about 3 minutes. After gymnastics, you want to think about conditioning piece. Oh, if you want to see how that app works, again, check it down in the description. I'll put all this stuff available. Conditioning workouts. You got EMOMs, AMRAPs, death by for time, sets, lots of different variations. You can do couplets, triplets, chippers, buy in, cash out, lots of different stuff, right? And tons of ways you can add in conditioning components. The way we like to do things within our training programs is we like to find a movement pattern for the day. Let's say we're doing a squat focused day. So we got our warm up, we got our strength prep, we're doing some squats in our prime mover, and then in our conditioning piece, we'll find a way to get the heart rate up and then have a lighter weight squat pattern. I like to think of that the strength work was really heavy, and then the Metcon stuff is going to be greasing that groove of that same movement pattern that we get. And now we can get some metabolic conditioning where the weights are lighter, but we're still moving that same movement patterns. And CrossFit is all about constantly varied. So some workouts are 2 minutes long. Some are in that 0 to 4 minute range. Some are in the 4 to 8 minute range. Some are 12 to 16. Some are 30 minutes long. Can't hone in on it enough that the more varied your training is with structure, the better you're going to be, because you want to be able to take on anything that comes your way. And that's exactly what we do when it comes to helping athletes. If you want to be able to play with your kids or go run a 5K or play flag football, play tennis, or be able to walk up the stairs or feel confident in your business suits or in front of your wife, whatever the case may be, do competitions. We help athletes and people accomplish that. Excuse me. And a whole nother world about, as I mentioned with our app, how you can click harder and easier. The ability to scale a workout and to get the desired training stimulus is crucial when you're first starting out, because you don't want to see a workout. Take an example of 3 rounds for time, run 300 meters, 25 pull-ups, and then 20 lunges, for example, and you can only do 6 pull-ups at a time. Well, each workout, which we actually have notes within our workout, is trying to get a desired stimulus. And we'd either want you to, for instance, you could cut the reps, you can cut the movement difficulty to make it a little bit easier, but we're trying to get each workout to be in a desired stimulus. What I wouldn't want you to do is, I could do 6 pull-ups, take a break, do 6 pull-ups, take a break. Then we're kind of losing that metabolic demand that we're trying to achieve in the Metcon portion of the workout. I am going to wrap up this video because I don't want it to be too long. If you're a reader, you can read the blog post where I dive into a little bit more. I talk about how we structure an actual training cycle where week 1, we're gathering some data and we're doing some testing. And then over the week 2 through 7, we're kind of building and ramping up, getting variance, getting progressive overload, and challenging the skills so you can get stronger and more efficient at those movements. That's a short nugget of it. Don't want this to be a 30-minute seminar by any means, but if you are wanting to check that out, I'll put that down in the description below. Or if you want to check out our training program, it's one of the best ways to experience how a solid training program works. You can head over to ksquaredfitness.com, and And we've got a way where you can get a free trial to all of our different trainings, whether you're trying to get better at mobility, gymnastics, strength training, preparing for a competition, lots of different stuff. You guys comment down below any other things that you guys want to see. I'm going to get some water because I filmed this right after this workout today, and it was hot out. Need some electrolytes and lots of talking. You guys crushed it. I'll catch you in the next one.